loves, we are making and baking something today in the kitchen. This is homemade cherry muffins. They are absolutely delicious, and these are actually sugar-free. They turned out moist and fluffy. Welcome back to the Cozy Cottage Homestead. Today I'm going to be making some cherry muffins. I had recently bought some cherries and pitted them the old-fashioned way, and I put most all of them in the freezer, but I went ahead and chopped me some up for this delicious muffin recipe. Now, for those of you that are watching your sugar or have restrictions on sugar like myself, we've made a switch to mostly sugar-free. We like the stevia. We use a granulated type and another type, and also I still had some Splenda. So this recipe, you can use whatever your choice of sugar-free sweetener is, and if you wanted to, you could still use sugar. So let's get started. I think I'll read the ingredients first, and I do have to get my reading glasses now. So you're going to need 3/4 cup of cherries. You can use fresh, frozen, or in a jar, and you need those to be chopped. So we already have ours chopped and had them in the refrigerator overnight. So we need 1/4 cup of butter, 1/4 cup of reduced fat cream cheese, and 1/2 cup of some kind of sugar-free sweetener. I'm using the granulated Splenda today. We need 1 large egg, 2 cups of flour. If you use self-rising flour, you need 2 cups. If you have all-purpose, which is what I have, and I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of baking powder to regular all-purpose flour. And we need our flour sifted. And we're going to use 1 cup of non-fat milk. Powdered milk is perfect for that. Just mix you up some powdered milk. It is already fat-free. And this recipe per serving, I believe, can't really see it, is only 5 grams of sugar per muffin. It's going to make 12 really nice muffins. So let's get started. First thing we're going to do is put our cream cheese in a little bit larger bowl, like maybe a medium-sized bowl. And we're going to do our 1/2 stick of butter. That's our 1/4 of butter. And we're going to use the mixer, so it might get a little loud. And we're going to just blend this up for a few seconds. Now I can tell you, for those of us that's used to making large batches, it's going to seem like it's not much of nothing. Now we're going to add our 1/2 cup of our stevia. I think I said Splenda, but it's actually granulated stevia is what I'm using. Now we're going to blend that up. And blend it up till it's nice and creamy. I'm going to scrape down the sides just because it is a small batch, just to make sure it's all mixed up. It should look like frosting. Yes, I'm going to probably get a little messy. It does seem to be messy. Okay, so now we're going to add, I believe it's going to be our large egg. That is correct. We have 1 large egg, and we're going to mix that up really good. scrape down those sides again. Now we're going to go ahead and sift our 2 cups of flour and our baking powder. We've got our old-fashioned sifter here. I actually have one that's really more old-timey than that. It's hanging up here on the wall. It's probably dusty, so I don't think I'm going to get it down, but it's the kind you turn. So we have our 2 cups of flour. Let's see if I can set that. And don't forget about your baking powder if you are using all-purpose flour. Your muffins will be way too dense if you forget this step. So, general rule of thumb on most baking recipes that call for self-rising flour is about 1 teaspoon per cup. So we're going to go ahead and get that sifted. So this makes the muffins really light and fluffy. I know everybody says that flour is pre-sifted when you buy it now. So if you want to skip this step, you can. But I will let you know that your muffins will probably be a little more dense, which will still be good, but they won't be as light and fluffy. So we have that. So what we're going to do is mix our milk and our sifted flour little bits at a time. However you want to do it, that's up to you. Alternate it however you want to do it. I'm just going to put some in there till it looks good. I'm going to dump just a little bit of milk in there, and then we're going to mix it. You're just going to keep doing this until it's all blended and mixed up really good. Let me find my little spoon here. Make it a little bit easier to scrape down the sides as we go. And I find that 1 cup sometimes isn't quite enough. It's a little stiffer. So if you want to add a little bit more milk or add a little more water, that's great. I'm going to go ahead and grab about 1/4 cup more water. And play it by ear to see if I think it needs it or not. Now, you might want to wait because the cherries do have juice in them and it may be just right, but I always keep a little bit on the side just in case. See, it seems kind of thick. We're going to wait a second before we add any more liquid and see if our cherries that are chopped in their own juices is going to be enough to make it the right moisture that we need. And I just simply pitted the cherries and used a little chopper and chopped them ahead of time because I know these videos can get kind of long. So I want to kind of keep it a decent, you know, length and everything because y'all know how to do all that stuff. Alright. Alright, so I just mixed it just a little bit. go ahead and take this off of here, and now we're going to get in here with our spoon or scraper. Try to clean this off as much as possible. Alrighty. And then we're going to get in here with this scraper or a spoon, and we're going to just stir it in. Kind of fold them in. It's going to turn kind of purplish looking, depending on what type of cherries. These were black cherries. And now that we have the cherries in there, I feel like it's a little bit stiff, so I'm going to add just a little bit more water. Not a lot. Go slow with it. And I feel like that it just needed maybe 2 tablespoons more of milk or water. And it also depends on how juicy your cherries are. Yours may be less or more, you know. Just kind of play it by ear. Have our 12-10 muffin tray, and I have some muffin liners in it. And I'm just going to spoon this into... Actually, I'm going to use a measuring spoon just to make it easier and hopefully less messy. Making a great mess today. So I'm just going to scoop some of this in there, and I'm going to pause it for a second because, you know, there's no reason in watching me fill up all these trays. So I got them ready. They're going to go in an oven for 25 minutes. Check them and make sure they're good. They're a little bit golden around the edges, at 400 degrees. So I got my oven preheating. I got a few more minutes to go, so I want to talk about the stevia real quick that I use. This is granulated, no-calorie stevia made with stevia extract. It's good for baking. It says great for baking. This is the GV brand. I like to use this when I'm baking. This is what I used for this recipe. Now this one here is called Pure, and it's an organic granulated sweetener stevia blend. It's 2 times as sweet as regular sugar. Now this is what I enjoy using in my sweet tea. This is more powdery, even though it says granulated, but it also says great for baking, and I find that to be true. It seems to be not that little bit of an off flavor, but once you get used to it, it's okay. But I do not like this in my sweet tea, or like what you would say is table sugar, like for my coffee or something like that. So the Pure is better, in my opinion, for like sweet tea, your coffee, your hot teas. But I usually use a lot of honey, organic honey instead. But when I make up a pitcher of sweet tea, this is what I use. And I just use half of what I normally would use, because this one's just twice as sweet, and this one measures just like sugar. So I'll be back as soon as we get those muffins out of the oven. Okay, so what I did was bake them for 25 minutes, cut the oven off, let them set for 5 more minutes. So now we're ready for our muffins. And it's best to take them out of the muffin tin, which they're going to be hot. See if I can get something to help me with this. And let them cool off. But they did turn out wonderful. And I think what I enjoy about this recipe, just like with using whatever type of sugar that you like or you enjoy, or sugar-free sweetener, this is probably going to be my new go-to muffin mix, because it is homemade from scratch. And don't be scared to change up the recipe a little bit. So if you want to make this blueberry or raspberry or blackberry, chocolate chips, whichever. It's a very good one for that. You just stir in whatever fruit you would like towards the end, and you're going to have a great muffin. I will bring y'all closer here in a minute. Let's see if this one's, I can find one that's not too hot. Of course they're all hot. Let's do this. My little oven mitt says life is what you bake it. So life is definitely what you bake it. If you have a sugar-free recipe and you have a diet or health issues that you need to switch over to sugar-free, sugar-free is really not that bad. You just have to practice with a few different recipes until you get it how you want it. It's really not that bad. Let's see if I can do this with the fork without tearing it all up to show y'all how delicious it looks, how moist. Let me bring this closer because it is hot. And I'm not the best at this, bringing stuff closer. And the lighting's probably not the best. Let's see if we can turn on one more light, see if that helps. That's probably going to help. So you can see how moist it is. It's really good. Of course, y'all know me. I'm going to slide some butter right in the center of it and enjoy. Makes a great breakfast, or you can pack it in lunches, whichever way you want to go with it. So that is it. That is my cherry muffin, sugar-free. Make it your own. Do it however you need to suit your needs. And try it without telling the children, maybe, that it is sugar-free, and see if they actually enjoy it. I think you'll be quite surprised. Little changes are going to make a big difference. So thanks for joining me today. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And thanks for all of you that leave friendly comments. So farewell, Homestead family, friends, and neighbors from the Cozy Cottage Homestead.